Dr. Seuss House. Did Dr. Seuss get his ideas from this house, or vice versa? Found deep within the woods of Alaska, you can find a bizarre-looking home known by locals as the Dr. Seuss home. One glance at it, and it's apparent where it gets its nickname. It could have easily been drawn up by the doctor himself. From its strange, climbing design to the stairs that rise and wrap around to the top, this house was undoubtedly inspired somewhat by the famed author. The original builders refused to name it as such and landed on Goose Creek Tower. As locals observed the construction grow taller and taller, they couldn't help but wonder the builders were actually doing. Though the original construction plan was to build a 2-story log cabin, the creators changed their minds and decided to push the limits of engineering and architecture. Floor after floor, they continued to build. It got higher and higher until it reached a dizzying height of 185 feet. Hopefully their inexperience in construction doesn't force a collapse later in life. Depending on the direction you're looking, or which ladders and staircases you choose to climb, you'll find between 14 and 17 floors. Some stairs lead to rooms that can't be accessed otherwise. Some of those staircases and ladders bypass floors altogether, making it difficult to get a sense of its accurate scale and location of all the rooms. Oz Cave. For 25 years, Rob Paulette has been helping shape New Mexico's sandstone caverns into man-made caves of art. Paulette, an artist without traditional training, has transformed into a free-thinking sculptor who maximizes the use of negative space and is gaining worldwide art fame for his works. He spent decades pursuing his obsession of sculpting. Even the most classically trained sculptors haven't learned as he's these types of things that are only perfected in experience. Some visitors say that all the caves are sanctuaries for prayer and meditation, while others perceive them as works of art. It's safe to assume that there are multiple feelings you can experience while in the caves. The artist starts by sculpting each cave without any blueprint, and instead relies on his feelings and sensations while exploring the unique space that he finds himself in. As he digs, first down and then across, he eventually breaches through the ceiling to draw natural light into each room, and allows the ambient vibrations to direct and redirect the process. Amazing, right? Some people just have an innate gift of craftsmanship. Beer Can House. John loved beer, and everyone knew it. He drank a 6-pack a day and saved all the cans for his special project. When he finally retired in the 60s, he put all those cans to good use by decorating the entire outside of the house with them in a different way. Not wanting any part of the cans to go to waste, he fashioned everything you can imagine, but out of beer cans. He built mobiles, fences, sculptures, and windmills, and chimes out of the tops and bottoms of his beer cans. When he passed away in 1988, he had spent 18 years of his life covering his home with over 39,000 beer cans. That's a lot of beer drinking, even in those many years. In the words of John himself, some people say this is a sculpture, but I didn't go to expensive schools to get these crazy notions. He just had an idea in his head and went for it. Oftentimes, just executing a plan of action is enough to inspire others with your work. Now, it's a popular tourist location. There's a house suspended over a beach 40 feet above the ground. The house is standing by means of a long concrete pole. It might sound like a disaster waiting to happen, but you can't deny it sure is something spectacular to look at. Rest assured, this home is just as unique as any other on this list, and you can even rent it for a family vacation, so long as you can shell out the pricey cost. To all the parents out there, this is not one place you want to bring them to. Keep it an adult-only trip, or go somewhere else. The house is dangerous if you aren't careful. Before renting, any renter must first sign a waiver stating that you'll throw no parties, bring no children, and abide by all safety rules while staying at this stunning home. Talk about an awesome place to be in the event of a zombie apocalypse. On all sides, the house is surrounded by a 40-foot drop, plenty high to make a zombie go splat from that fall. The modern aesthetic house was constructed of 3 glass walls that offer stunning views into the endless Australian Ocean, for whose coast it resides. While the paperwork says you can't throw parties in there, just imagine the types that would go down if you could. You can always dream. The home is a historic Australian building and has been dubbed as the most photographed house in the entire country. Invisible Desert House. If this isn't a supervillain house, what in the world could it be? This insane, mirrored home was kept a big secret for a long time, and was only revealed once its security was fully operational and ready to deter those trying to come get a closer look. High in the desert mountains, you'll find a mirrored home that reflects the surrounding desert landscape back. If you didn't know it was there, the house would appear invisible. You might even walk right into the window on accident. The project started years ago, and not a soul knew of its existence until it was completed and displayed to the world. When the owners finally broke the news about their insane home, they were right, and everyone was screaming for a tour. Sounds like an impressive supervillain skill in keeping the construction site so secret if you think about it. This concrete, steel, glass, and mirrored house was constructed with scenery and views in mind for the residents. Finding the right location to plant a home like this took over a year. For the couple, it was the Bond villain house or no house at all, so they went for it. They didn't skimp out on the interior either. In fact, it's considered one of the most luxurious homes in the country. Off-grid floating house. The floating home located off the coast of Tofino, British Columbia is eco-paradise containing greenhouses, home buildings, and pathways. Most of them are painted fuchsia and teal to make them really pop against the ocean backdrop. The impressive slice of heaven is the project of two artists who wanted to live for years by floating off the grid. This island is completely self-sustainable. They began construction on Freedom Cove in 1992 when they were inspired to fashion a completely self-sustaining ecosystem without modern technology to show the world that it's possible. Just good Mother Nature to help it in all its efforts. They did 90% of the work themselves, building 4 greenhouses, an art gallery, dance floor, and even a lighthouse. The whole compound encompasses 12 connecting platforms. At different points throughout the project's life, they've learned to harness solar energy for power and gather the water from rain in a nearby waterfall. This eco-friendly paradise may look tranquil to those fantasizing about heavenly off-grid living, but the work it took to get it there is nothing to scoff at. The artist later said it required an extensive amount of grit to follow through, with the duo almost quitting and/or splitting a few times throughout the process. Now, living there is their job. They even have children together that live there and learn. Upside Down House. Constructed in 2008, this is the aptly named Upside Down House, built in Germany. It was built by a pair of Polish architects. They called the project Weltstadt-Kopf, the world upside down. The goal of the turned-up home was to give visitors a different view of everyday things and force them to think differently. It just goes to show that thinking like this has long been a trait of humans. The only thing not flipped over is the exterior stairs. Humans wouldn't be able to walk up or down stairs that were inverted. As if it wasn't all that extremely disorienting, the entire building was constructed on a 6% incline, making it look all the odder. From the exterior, the impression is that the house somehow fell to earth and came to rest precariously on its roof. It certainly has that look. Inside, that extra slant extra highlights the already confusing nature. Safest house in the world. It looks like a luxurious mansion and has the size to accommodate, but this is no mere safe house. This could be the safest in the world. Some places in the world have safe houses nicer than other people's main homes. While the design was constructed with a modern aesthetic with tons of windows and glass panes allowing in waves of natural light, it also comes equipped with a state-of-the-art lockup system that transforms this house into an impenetrable fortress. With pull-down steel shutters, roll-out barricades, walls and fences, and a sensor system that rivals the most secure museums in the world, this house is straight up bonkers. If the builder wanted to turn it into an impenetrable stone lunchbox, he can with just a push of a button. Every pane of glass and opening into the home can be sealed when lockdown mode is initiated. Whatever the world-threatening crisis is for the time, nuclear war, apocalyptic weather, or just plain insanity, the owner is prepared for anything. Whoever lives here will be living out the apocalypse in luxury, that's for sure, and without a worry from other humans trying to crack inside. Even if they tried, they wouldn't get very far. Organic House. The artist's intention with the Organic House project was first conceived and stole its likeness from that of a peanut shell. There are 2 roomy oval spaces with a lot of natural light pouring in. Those rooms are connected by a low-hanging, narrow, dimly lit passageway that opens once again into the second bubble-shaped room. The idea for this proposal was based on the elemental functions of humans, like a place to live and the fellowship of others. The rooms include a living room, dining room, kitchen, and another place for sleeping with a dressing room and bath. The original concept is embodied in two large spaces, diurnal and nocturnal parts of living, or day and night. It was designed with the desire to feel, when someone enters, like he's descending underground, but with all the beautiful nature and greenery that lies just outside the window. This creates a feeling of security without compromising views. Hobbit House. In today's modern world, many people are bailing on the whole take out a huge mortgage thing and opting for cheaper alternatives to living. Some people even are constructing their own fascinating homes. Take this house, which had to be inspired by the Hobbit homes from Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. Armed with only a chisel, a chainsaw, and a hammer, the 32-year-old moved his family to a hillside in Wales and started digging out a spot for them to construct their home. He did it all by hand, which is a testament to their skill. To be sure, the results of a wooden green home not only took 4 months to construct, but cost a measly €3,000. This home could easily be the setting for one of the aforementioned films. You wouldn't even know the difference. The best part is, he didn't intend to design the home in such a manner. When it was all said and done, the family turned to each other and unanimously agreed it's what reminiscent of a Hobbit house. From that point on, they stuck with the name, and it's still referred to as such.